there is a main reason why people seek couples therapy. I'm wondering if you know what it is. You probably have an idea, but I'm going to give it to you. It has to do with communication struggles. People can't get on the same page. They argue, they fight, they escalate, and life is just chaotic and hurtful and not harmonious. I'm Emma Viglucci from MetroRelationship.com, where we help couples who are feeling disconnected and not on the same page get on the same page, increase their connection, their intimacy, and their fun, and create that strong partnership that they're looking for so that they can have a successful relationship and a meaningful life. We also help partners create more of a self-love approach to life, self-care, other wellness things that they might need. And we sprinkle in addressing codependent dynamics. A lot of couples who are struggling, there's some codependency going on in there that creates challenges in their relationship. If these things sound interesting to you or they resonate for you, feel free to subscribe, give us a like, click that bell button so you get notifications. Feel free to share this, follow us if you're watching in other channels. And also, if you think that you need support or you would like support, feel free to check out the link in the description box so you could do an initial session with us and see if we're a good fit for you to help you and support you in your journey of creating your successful relationship. And third thing, stay tuned for something fun coming. Stay tuned for September 27th. I have a surprise. We are dropping a new project, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so without further ado, let me get into this topic for today. The topic is communication in alignment. It's the second element of our successful relationship strategy, where we teach couples all the different ways of communicating and getting on the same page. Now, as you could imagine, if somebody's struggling with communication in their relationship and they're struggling, getting on the same page and they're fighting and all that kind of stuff, this might be you, so you might be familiar with what I'm saying. That what happens is that there's a lot of misunderstanding, there's a lot of bickering, a lot of going back and forth, a lot of disagreements, fights that escalate, and just life not being harmonious and peaceful and joyful and nice like they would like to have. When that's happening, then the next thing that happens is resentment, feeling stuck, not being able to get on the same page to get traction in creating the life and the relationship that they want, right? In that stagnancy or stagnancy, not being able to move forward and create the things. And when you have all that fighting and all that stuckness going on and all that resentment going on, all the interactions are challenging, can have good moments and connection moments, or they're far and few between if this is a prevalent dynamic. And then it's almost like you have a knife to your bond. You keep cutting the bond between you two with these types of interactions going on frequently. And eventually your connection erodes, right? And you start feeling disconnected and like things are not working, and you start questioning your commitment to each other. And it's just not a good situation. So what I want to do today is offer you 3 different ways of making your communication better if this resonates for you, so that you don't have to be in that funky place and you could turn things around, okay? So number 1 is improving your communication. So this has to do with, first of all, getting on the same page, because it's hard to have any other kind of lovely communication if you're just missing each other, if you can't even talk with each other without getting into fights, into disagreements, and into conflict. So how do you get on the same page? What's the easiest way to get on the same page? So a few things with this. Number 1, we want to be mindful of what kind of messages we send to our partner. What do we say? How do we speak? How do we show up, right? What that means is that we're going to be mindful of delivering our messages and whatever we want to say in a way that's respectful, kind, conscientious, compassionate, loving, mindful, all the things. We could be complaining about something, but it doesn't mean that we have to rip our partner or no one. Okay. So that's like the number one rule. A lot of people think that because they're upset about something that they have the right to be a jerk to their partner. That is the farthest thing from the truth. When we go our partner in a negative way, demanding, critical, shaming, belittling, controlling, beating up, all the things that we might do, why would our partner listen to us, right? So we're just setting ourselves up to like not have a good communication right off the bat. So that this means then that our job is to make sure that we're in a good place to be able to address the thing that's bothering us. So we're not going to go in their hat. So that's number one, right? So number 1.5. So one, we're going to be mindful to speak properly. And to do that, we're going to take a moment to chill out, to regroup, to own our side of the story and how we're going to communicate it properly to our partner. The number 2 with this is we're going to ask our partner to have a conversation about the thing that's bothering us. And it doesn't have to be extremely formal and like, sending an invitation in writing for this conversation, but ask for a conversation. Don't just drive by, tell your partner that you're annoyed and dump on them. And on top of that, people usually do it the wrong way, like I said before, beating on them, right? So you're going to ask for this conversation and ask your partner that you want to tell your partner that you're going to be intentional and that you want to get on the same page and that you want to share your feelings and not to beat them up, but to get on the same page and align and both of you feel better, for both of you to feel better. If your partner's not ready to have a conversation, please don't force it because it will not be a productive conversation. You might be all realigned and ready to go, but your partner might still be really annoyed at you for whatever reason. Like let's say that you got triggered by something, they annoyed you, you started addressing it improperly, you trigger them, now they're annoyed at you, and then you had a fight. Then you regrouped and now you want to talk about it, but they're still mad at you. Okay, this is the way that things go. And actually, we're going to talk more about this dynamics in the next video, which is element 3 for dynamics. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Element 3, I think I said that. So for this part, you're going to address with them what's bothering you if they're ready to talk about it. So you're going to check with them. Can we talk about what happened before? I want to share my experience and I want to hear yours, like something conducive to collaboration and to niceness and to being on the same page. Okay. If they're like, nah, then be like, you know what? Okay, so let me know when you're ready. Don't push it. And then at that point, agree on the time to come back to discuss it. Because I'm giving you the short version of this. Like we have a lot more structure to this setup when we work together, but just for now, this is sufficient for you to start shifting. Then when it's time, you come back and you chat about what the experience was. And the key here, so this is part 3 now, is to speak from your own circle. We've been talking about the circles and the boundaries since element 1 and since all the other videos. So we want to make sure that we are owning ourselves in that we're not putting stuff on our partner, that we're not mind reading, that we're not assigning motive, that we're not making assumptions, right? It has to be clean. Like we can't speak for them, about them, and how they suck. That is not a good way of communicating. We're going to speak about us, how we felt, what happened for us, what got triggered, how we got impacted, what hurt us. You see, you speak about you, your experience, your feelings, what's happening for you, your needs. And your needs are not that, my needs are that you're nice. My needs are that you change. Those are not your needs, right? You're owning your partner when you say things like that. Your needs are to feel loved, to feel connected, to feel safe, to feel understood, to feel taken care of, things like this. You see, very different. So that's it for that one part, right? So this is for improving communication. 1, you're going to adjust your mindset and realign so that you could go at the conversation properly. 2, you're going to ask for the conversation. And 3, you're going to talk from a very owning place without beating on your partner. All right. Okay. We're moving on to part 2. Part 2 is deepening communication. Now, what's happening here is that if you did part 1 properly and you invest in improving your communication in the way that I just outlined for you, you will start synchronizing a lot easier, getting on this page a lot easier, having a lot more respect and ease and flow and peace, where now you could take things to the next level, you see? And now, if you were considering not being together because you're just fighting all the time, that might start going away because you're not fighting as much. And now there's an opportunity for connecting more deeply. You see how we already are addressing all the things that potentially kicked around in your mind of how the relationship is not working for you anymore. And so with deepening communication, what we want to do is a couple of things. First, we're going to invite our partner for 2 or 4 more meaningful conversations. So we're going to, again, it's not going to be all formal. You don't have to send an invitation via mail. You're going to ask, I'm like, oh, can we chat later? Let's just hang out and have a cup of tea. We look at the stars, right? So just set a conducive environment that's nice and pretty and inviting, conducive to just being with each other and relaxing and being able to have something more meaningful for an exchange. And so then the second part to this would be to, when you are in that moment, to share things that are important to you in terms of values, in terms of dreams, in terms of experiences that you've had that you want to share, in terms of experiences that you want to have that you want to share, and just a little deeper into your mind, into your inner world, and just sharing that with your partner without coming across judgmental, like you can't have these things because your partner is a particular way, you see? So you have to be careful how you share this. We're sharing this from a place of curiosity and intimacy and sharing and being open and vulnerable, not as critical and we're going to make things happen and you suck and you're not with me. Like, no, right? That's not a deep and meaningful conversation. You're going to share about you, your dreams, your desires, your inner world from a vulnerable place that has nothing to do with your partner. You're going to share you. Right? So that's for deepening the conversation. Now, a little caveat here, your partner might not be ready for that level of intimacy. If you've only been around a few rounds of good communications after a long stretch of fighting and not getting along, they might not completely have shifted to being ready to be this emotionally close. Okay? That is totally reasonable. We move at different paces. We are different people. We have different needs. We have different experiences. We gauge things differently. We assign meaning to things differently, whatever. We're different people. And if your partner's not ready, that's totally fine. It doesn't mean that it's useless, hopeless, that forget it, it's never going to work. It does not mean that, I promise you. Okay, it just means just be a little patient, right? And continue to cultivate good communication, improved communication, so you create more and more and more emotional safety, maybe even physical safety. I mean, regardless of, depending on where you guys are at. So there is not this fight or flight sense going on emotionally or physically where you're like, I don't know if this is going to be okay. Like we don't want to live like that. And we never want to stay in a situation where it's not safe, right? So that's a different point. I'm talking to people who are not in a dangerous situation. But even people who are not in a dangerous situation, sometimes partners do funny stuff, okay? So that's what I'm talking about. And so from that place, then be patient, allow space to generate more of that good mojo, because then that automatically will kind of segue into improving things and what's next, right? So then you could start going a little deeper after a little while. If you find that a long amount of time went by and your partner is still hesitant to be vulnerable and open and emotionally intimate, then that might warrant a conversation in and of itself, right? So what's going on? How are you feeling? and check. They might just have a history of not being open or emotionally intelligent or available. There might be other patterns going on also. And again, that doesn't mean that it's hopeless and see, it's not going to work. None of that. Okay. That could be worked through too. So in that instance, it means just like a little bit more creating safety and openness is necessary. And you just ease into it. You share your stuff first without expecting much in return, like without expecting that they're going to share all of their side. They might not, first of all, they might not be in touch with their side. And second of all, they might not feel safe to share their side. They might feel intimidated by you sharing your side. There's all kinds of things that happen. But so if this is your situation, then when you are going, don't automatically share everything, right? Just ease into it. Start sharing a little bit at a time, not too intense, not too deep, not, just ease into it so that it's not scary and flooding and overwhelming for your partner. So they see that it's okay to do this. It's not crazy. It doesn't feel nuts. It's not scary. And so then they could start coming along as well. Okay. I think that's sufficient for this. Now, the third one is, so part 3 is enhance communication. So now this is assuming that you're progressing. And then with enhanced communication, I'm going to show you what that is in a second. Let me just make a note first that there is a progression here. And if you're doing better with your partner, then all of those that fighting, you might want to start further in this progression, right? So you don't necessarily need to do all of the things from part 1. You could start with the deepening of the conversation. You could start with this one, whatever makes sense for you, okay? Okay, so for this one, enhanced communication means accepting each other more deeply and more thoroughly. We are really good at judging. We are really good at telling our partner how they suck, how they should change, what they need to improve, how they need to evolve, all the things that they need to do to be better partners, better people, better humans, to look better, whatever, all the things that we like to do. And we're judgy, right? Like, why are you like that? Why do you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Like, whatever, all kinds of things that we do on a daily basis. So just becoming more aware of that, because then this part 3 has to do with embracing all of that, embracing all of the differences, noticing how you're different and unique and special, and honoring it and cherishing it, as opposed to poo-pooing it, as opposed to judging it, as opposed to trying to change it, right? So actually capitalize on your differences, embrace them. Between your partner's uniqueness and your uniqueness, you create a really special, beautiful couple. So enhance that, make it as big as possible, embrace it, own it, integrate it in different ways, create more magic together, as opposed to trying to stifle and correct and become the same and change your partner. Good. So some people might have a hard time with that. I hear a lot things like, we're not compatible, we look at the world very differently, we see everything differently, we don't have any of the same interests. I hear this stuff a lot from a lot of different people, a lot of different couples that we have. And what I want to share with you is that is just beautiful content for your relationship, to actually use it to your advantage. And in fleshing out and in conversing and in chatting and in sharing, you might find different angles to all of this stuff where you find that commonality, where you borrow from both of your things and you create something bigger and more special. That's where you find the joint activities or the joint likes and the joint approaches and all of the things. You find that middle ground where you make it work, right? So you have the French stuff where it's not each other's cup of tea, but because you brought your whole kit and caboodle, you will find a bunch of stuff in the middle that you could figure out how to make bigger, that's unique to both of you, because you both brought your own sides to it, you see? And I just had another thought that I wanted to share about that. It fell out of my head. But so what we want to do is create that unique way that becomes unique to your relationship, unique to your couple, and what actually makes you special at the end of the day. Okay, so don't worry that you're so different. Don't worry that you have nothing in common. Don't worry that you look at the world from different places, that you do everything different, like all these things that usually you use to say that your partner gets on your nerves. You use it as a bad thing. You look at it as if it's a bad thing. It doesn't have to be. That's actually the meat, the juice, the spark that makes things even more amazing. You just have to use it properly. And I remember what I was going to say, which is that, just an example, little side note here. This comes up a lot with my husband and I when it comes to food, right? So I'm not sure if I've shared this example in the past, so bear with me if you've heard it before. But like, he likes the triangle of the pizza, I like the crust. He likes the inside of the cheese or the bread, I like the outside. He likes the noodles in the soup, I like the juice. So this goes on for almost everything that we eat. So we complement each other very well. We get to eat everything that we're eating because we just like different parts of whatever the food is and the meal is. And it's funny because we don't cease to be amazed by this. Every time we try something different or we're doing something, I'm like, oh, I like that part. Oh, I like that part. Perfect, right? So it's a great compliment, as opposed to being upset that, why don't you like what I like, right? It doesn't make any sense. All right, so hopefully that exemplifies how this might show up, and you could borrow that to find your own, how do you do your own differences and how you could do them better. All right, so I'm going to recap. Ready? So for number one was improve communication, which had to do with getting on the same page, finding time to creating time to process something that doesn't work for you. And you're going to go into that conversation from a good state of mind. And then you're going to have the conversation from a respectful place. Number two was deepening communication. And that one had to do with just sharing your internal world in a pace, in a rate, in a timing that makes sense for your relationship, and that's inviting to your partner, that is inducing, bring them coming over, right? Like seductive, not repelling and scary. And then number three is enhanced communication, where you're just going to embrace the differences to create something much better and enhance that connection, and it's going to enhance your relationship as a result. Okay, so now the takeaways. Ready? The takeaways are this. For the first one, for improved communication, we want to practice that dialogue, practice setting up that conversation, and you don't have to wait to practice until there's a hot issue, right? So you could find little things to chat about so that you could go into that conversation from this different mindset, and you see that it's safe to have the conversation. So when there is something that's a little hot, you're primed and ready to have a conversation without it being scary. Okay, so you don't have to avoid it. For number two, for deepening communication, practice setting up a time, create like a recurring appointment or couple time, where you share things, and it starts subtly, right? With just sharing likes and preferences, and then you can start deepening those conversations. For number three, for enhanced communication, you might want to create an appreciation habit where you build into your weekly routine a time to share with your partner everything that you love about them, what's unique about them, what you appreciate about them, and just really appreciate and acknowledge their uniquenesses and what's special and beautiful about them and their contribution to the relationship. Okay, so I hope all of that was pretty for you, and that you have takeaways that make sense for your relationship at this time. And again, if you need support, feel free to check out the link in the description box so that you can get started with us with an initial session. Check us out to see if you feel that we are a good fit for you to support you on your journey. And stay tuned for an announcement that I have coming up for September 27th. We're dropping something cool. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.